Hello and welcome to the Strategy of the Week presentation for 23rd of August 2013. My name is Steve Chappell, the Director of Educational Services here at VectorVest. The title of our presentation this week is Easy Money. Are you looking for an easy way to make money in the Australian share market? Well, I'm sure many of you are, so I'm delighted you're here with us for this presentation, as we're going to get back to the basics. Fact is, it's our experience that our top VST vector stocks tend to go up in price over time, particularly in rising markets. So we'll begin today's presentation driving that fact home, and then show you how well this methodology has worked in recent years. Let's jump right in the program and take a look. We're going to begin today's presentation in the stock viewer. To get there, I'm going to go right up to the top, and I'm going to select the Viewers tab. Over on the left in the Viewers pane, I'm going to select Stock Viewer. And now just push the panel off to the left. You see, the real power of VectorVest begins right here on this very screen. Folks, we've been analyzing and ranking stocks around the world for decades. And we've always done it the same way. We look for stocks who have the best combinations of value, safety, and timing. And so Australia is no exception. You can see that currently we're tracking 1,760 stocks. And our favorite stock of the bunch, as of today's close, is Altium Limited. The price of the stock is $2.62, and it currently has a value of $3.53. So certainly the stock is undervalued. We feel it is worth or could command $3.53 in the current share market. Our next indicator, relative value, looks at the upside potential of this company versus a similar investment in a high-grade corporate bond. It's cast on a 0 to 2 scale. Anything above 1 indicates you're better off in the share for the long term over a 1 to 3 year time horizon. So with Altium Limited at a value of 1.64, you're far better off in the share than we are in that high-grade bond. Our next indicator, relative safety, looks at the predictability and consistency of this company's financial performance. It's also 0 to 2, and because we're also well above 1 here, the safety is very strong yet again at 1.24. So here's a company with tremendous upside, dictated by the high relative value score, and also has a good bit of safety to back it up. They tend to meet and exceed earnings quarter after quarter after quarter, year after year after year. And so we know the fundamentals of the company now are quite strong. What we need to know next is it okay to buy, say, Altium today? That is answered by the next column, relative timing, which is an indicator of short-term price direction. It's also 0 to 2, and since Altium comes in at 1.85, this stock not only has very strong fundamentals, it is moving up in price very quickly as we speak. So this is a 3-time winner, and we take all 3 of these indicators, wrap it into one master indicator called VST, which is how we rank the Australian share market every single day. It's also 0 to 2 scale, above 1 being favorable, below 1 being unfavorable. And when we consider all 3 factors, the upside potential, the consistency and predictability of financial performance, and the short-term price direction, Altium comes out on top with the best total score across all 3 factors of any stock in the Australian share market. And so that's how we're going to base our investment decisions. We're going to look for the best overall quality companies and invest our hard-earned dollars into just those types of stocks. The next thing that we need to know is when to do it. And there's always the right time to begin a campaign, for example. So just for a quick recap, I'm going to take us into a market timing graph where you can see when some of the better times to begin these campaigns are going to be. To get there, I'm going to go right up to the top, click on Timing, and from the Timing tab, I'm going to select a Market Timing Graph. Once in the Market Timing Graph, I'm going to go to the Graph Layout section, and we're going to change it to the GLB RT kicker layout. And if you've been to any of our seminar and events there as of late with our Precision Trading Systems and Enhanced Precision Trading Systems course, we've been really hitting this RT kicker combo timing home. But I'm going to go ahead and push the panel off to the right, come down to the bottom, and also make a change here and place on our RT kicker combo timing list. Now we have some matter-of-fact signals that are placed on the chart. And so the best time to begin any campaign of buying high VST vector stocks will be on the first green triangle that you see at the beginning of each and every new up wave. For example, the best time to have started as of this latest rally would have been right here at this first green triangle off the most recent bottom, which came in on 4th of July 2013. And so in today's studies, we're going to examine what would happen if I bought the top rated VST vector stock, just one stock a day on each of these signals, and built it up to a portfolio of 5 positions and 5 positions max, and just manage them with some very sensible money management. What we're going to do is we're going to hold any of the stocks that we buy long all the way up until we get our first red triangle or bearish indication on the market. We'll close the entire basket, but along the way, as we're picking up high VST stocks with these green signals, we're going to continue to hold them long all the way up to that red unless the VST score falls below 1. And so the beautiful thing about that stop, ladies and gentlemen, is fundamentals are built into that stop loss, because when we talk about VST, we talked about how the safety and the upside potential of a company are factored in. But what's going to tend to happen is the relative timing is going to break down to such a degree that it takes that stock to a VST score of below 1. And so the timing is critical and awful in that case. And so it's time to move out of that position and put our money into a better place where we can potentially make money in the market. And so the methodology is going to be very simple. Again, we're going to begin a campaign on the first green light after the most recent market bottom. We're going to buy 1 stock a day, top VST stock from Stock Viewer. We're going to hold that stock until one of 2 things happens. We get our kicker down signal, the very first red, or the VST score falls below 1. And it's that simple. If we sell a stock, we're not going to replace that position until we get another kicker green triangle. And so we're not going to be buying anything in neutral conditions. Again, we're only buying on kicker greens. So let's take a look at the most recent record. We're going to start from this latest rally, and we're going to take a look at how well some of the stocks have performed from the Stock Viewer. Then we're going to go back, start from January 2012, and run a portfolio of this methodology all the way up to current and see what that track record looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize the graph, and we're going to go back to Viewers and Stock Viewer. And so here in Stock Viewer, one of the really nice things about VectorVest, one of the things I love, we have all this historical data that you can go back and analyze. Today will be no exception. I'm going to come right up to the calendar at the top. I'm going to change the date back to July. And instead of focusing on confirm calls today, which are a great way to stay on the right side of the market, we're going to kick things up a notch with that kicker combo to get some more precise timing. To do that, I'm just going to pop my quick dates tab out on the calendar. I'm going to change it from confirm calls to the RT kicker combo. And so that populates the calendars with all the kicker combo signals. And so you can see here what this would amount to is we would pick up a top VST stock on any of the green lights. Now it's important to note that the calendar is coded in such a way that since the 5th is, it's not green, but it hasn't changed signal, that is also a kicker green on that day. Otherwise, it would have come in as a yellow or a red. So we only mark the changes in signal on the calendar. So we would pick up one top VST stock on the 4th. We'd pick up a second position on the 5th, a third on the 9th, a fourth on the 10th, and a fifth on the 11th. We'd manage those stocks until the VST broke down below 1, or we got our first kicker red. If the VST breaks down below 1, we're not going to buy another stock until we have another confirmed green light. And again, it's that simple. So let's start things out on July the 4th. I'll simply select the 4th, click OK. And here we are, 4th of July 2013, and we can see the stock viewer has changed. The top stock at that time was Freedom Foods. Then we have Magellan Financial, Altium Limited, and so on down the list. I mentioned earlier that it's our experience that top VST vector stocks tend to go up over time, particularly in rising markets. So one of the ways we can test out that philosophy is to come right up to the top and use our quick test function. Under quick test, I'm just going to quick test the top 5 stocks. So I'll simply click on top 5 and look at that. Here we go. We have a basket of 5. One stock well outperformed all the others, and this one happened to be Altium, which was third one on the list, but the top stock did perform well. FMP all the way to current, since we haven't had a red kicker down yet, is up 3.59%. Now don't get too miffed that we missed Altium on this particular date. We could have jumped in 5 stocks right out of the gate, but most people have trouble buying 5 stocks right away. So we're just going the slow road and buying 1 a day. Now if Altium continues to perform well as it did here, chances are we're going to pick it up over the next couple of days. So let's see what happens. If I close this out, we can move on to the next day, right? Because we don't have a change in signal yet. We go to the 5th, and we could quick test, say, the top 5 again from here, just to get a feel. You can also see how Altium is moving up the list on VST. It's now in 2nd position. If we quick test the top 5 here, again, good performance. MFG, the top stock, underperformed the basket, but that's okay. We're going to begin to pick up some of these big winners here very shortly. If we go ahead to the next one, this time we'll skip forward to the 9th. And by this time we're picking up Altium for sure. If I quick test the top 5, again you're seeing test after test, time after time, the top VST stocks over time in rising markets are continuing to well outperform the market. And in this case, we picked up another big winner as it's starting to float its way to the top of the stock viewer, GBT, which is GBST Holdings Limited. It's a 35% winner. And so my first point here is just driving home that the top of the stock viewer is really a great place to start focusing on stocks you're going to buy. All you have to have is the right timing in place, and these stocks should mature at a faster rate than the average stock in the market. So to test that philosophy out and really put it into, say, a portfolio type environment, the best place to go is Backtester. I'm going to go right up to the top, click on Backtester, and in here, if you've never backtested, you'll have a couple of large buttons. One of them is going to say Backtest an Idea. If not, you'll have a row across the top where you can click a new button to start a new backtest. I'm going to go ahead and click Backtest an Idea. In here we can mimic a trading account. We begin that process with the account settings portion. We're going to leave all the default settings here. $25,000 initial investment, $20 per trade commission, and we're not going to use margin. In the market timing section, some of you may or may not have this capability. This capability comes with the purchase of AutoTester. We did place a link in the VectorVest views that we covered earlier in the timing section that would offer you a trial to this AutoTester product and also offer you a discount when you allow that auto tester trial to convert. $100 discount off the normal cost. Once you have auto tester, over on the right you'll be able to select use market timing, and then we'll select our market timing list. In this case, I'll choose the RT Kicker combo. So with the RT Kicker combo, we have 3 situations that populate. We have an up situation, and again, that's when we have a green light in the price column of the color guard, and the 5-day moving average of relative timing is greater than the 20-day moving average of relative timing. That was the green triangles that we saw represented on the market timing graph. So there's multiple ways to see the signals, either through the calendars in any screen, on the market timing graph itself, or even on the home page. You'll see a green light in the price column there with a blinking star indicating a confirmed green. So what are we going to do in the confirmed greens? Well, we discussed it earlier. We're going to buy the top stocks from the stock viewer. So how do we go about doing that? When I click on Automation Rules up, I'll come over here to our Search tab. We're going to buy long, and in our Search tab, we're going to select Top VST Vector Stocks. Now there's a whole bunch of folders in VectorVest, so if you don't know where Top VST Vector Stocks lies in those folders, you can simply alphabetize the list. So I click the A to Z button. I can then click on a search and hit T on the keyboard, which will skip me down to that section, and then I'll select Top VST Vector Stocks. This is just like buying right from Stock Viewer. The next thing we decided we would do for this simple test is in Stop Criteria, select VST less than 1 as our exit. When the stock's relative timing really begins to break down, we want to cut loose of that stock and reinvest that money into a better position at that time. This will take us to more settings. We did discuss only doing a basket of 5 stocks, so we're going to change our maintain box to 5 positions. We are automatically going to replace in the up, which is the confirmed green light, so we're going to leave that selected. We're not going to do all 5 positions immediately. Remember, we discussed the idea of just investing into one at a time. And this is a lot easier for most investors to stomach. The next selection is very important, and it says when entering this situation, what do you want to do? We are not going to close any open position. We don't want to close something out that hasn't hit that VST stop loss yet. We want to try to hold it as long as we can. Okay, so that's an important selection there. We are going to invest at the average value. We're going to try to keep this campaign dollar weighted across all positions at all times, so that our exposure is the same in any single position. If I continue to scroll down, to do so we'll have to use odd lots. I am going to change this selection here, limit repurchases, to not repurchasing a stock, the same stock that we sell, for a minimum of 31 days. At the bottom, we're also going to limit a maximum percentage of the stock's average volume. So we don't want to buy up too much of the average volume of a stock, otherwise we may have some liquidity problems trying to get out on the back end of the trade. We're going to drop that down to 2%, and now we've got the up situation set in stone. From here, what do we do in a down when we get a confirmed red light in the price column of the color guard, and it shows up as a red triangle on the graph or a red square in the calendar? Well, in that situation, we're simply going to go to cash. We're going to take all of our positions that we currently hold, in some cases all 5 if there's 5 positions in there, and go to cash with those positions and lock in those profits. In a neutral, a yellow, times where you may have a green light but it's not confirmed by the moving averages, for example, and it shows up as a yellow square in the calendar or as a yellow dot on the market timing graph. In those situations, we're going to take no action. We're just going to let our stops dictate what we do with the current holdings. So if a stock's VST falls below 1, we'll sell it. We just won't replace it. And then all we have to do is select our test period. So here we'll go back in 2012 to January, and I'll go ahead and select the first calendar day of January. However, the first actionable day is not going to come until the 10th. And because these are closing signals for the market, we really wouldn't be investing until the open of the next day on the 11th of January. Again, we'd pick up another position on the 11th of January. Remember, it doesn't change color until there's a signal change. So we'd have two positions. We'd take no action the morning of the 13th, but we'd buy another position the morning of the 16th based on the green on the 13th, and so on. Just trying to drive how this works home. We're going to bring it all the way up to the current time. And so at the bottom, all we got to do is give it a name. Let's go ahead and call it Top VST Stocks. And here's the beautiful part. All I got to do now is click Finish and Run. Everything's set up. It's going to dictate the portfolio the same way you would in real time going forward. It just does it a lot faster from a historical perspective. So you can see how that idea works. So I'll click Finish and Run. And we'll just move this up a little bit so we can see the curve click away. And it looks pretty good so far. So again, you'll notice we begin buying a stock a day on each of the confirmed kicker green lights. When we get our first confirmed red light in the price column, the first kicker red, then we move into a cash position. You can see that with the flat line on the equity curve. We begin buying a singular position again with the first green light, and we just rinse and repeat that process from now until the end of time, basically, if you wanted to continue rolling this campaign forward. One of the things that I love about what we see currently is each and every single up wave is making money, and a good bit of money each time. And by moving into that cash position, we're really guarding against some serious downside when those times occurred in the Australian share market and preserving that profit that we had. I want to share some of the numbers with you because the numbers are just phenomenal. This gives us a 53% gain since beginning of January of 12. That's 32% a year with a maximum drawdown of only 6.5%. Better yet, we have 76.92% winning trades. That is outstanding. So this is a methodology that is working extremely well in the Australian share market. Fact is, this is a methodology that tends to work extremely well everywhere. And it really is why VectorVest is in business today. Again, it's our experience that if you just focus on top VST vector stocks and hold those positions in rising markets, vast majority of the time you're going to come out with winning trades. So I want to thank you for tuning in to this week's Strategy of the Week presentation, and we'll see you next week right back here at VectorVest University. Have a great weekend, everyone.